So I'm finally getting around to replacing this gas tank in my lawn tractor with John Deere's correct replacement. I've actually had two different tanks on here besides the original one that I got this thing with, and the original one was just like this one. It starts cracking, starts leaking. This one's not leaking yet, but I've got the time to change it out. Normally they leak right there at the seam. You can see right there the seam that I'm talking about. There's no real fix for it, unfortunately, other than to just replace the entire tank. So what we're going to do is undo both of these bolts here and lift this end of the body up. Now you guys can see here that I have done this before, so it is going to bend out your bodywork just a little bit, but this thing's it's not really a big deal to me one way or the other. So as usual, this is not being done by the book. The book tells you to undo the wiring harness, undo all the bolts holding the pedestal on, removing that, as well as removing everything back here, and then popping the whole green part of the body off. That's very time consuming. In fact, it's a waste of time because this way is a lot easier. But it's not the way the book tells you to do it. So again, I'm not responsible for any mishaps you may or may not have. They're just two 10mm. You guys can see it's a little springy. Again, that's because I've had this thing off already. And here's the fun part. All we're going to do is lift this thing up with a jack and a 4x4. And it is important to have the front end raised or jacked up, so then you don't have to deal with any possible issue. And then what I usually do, take a 4x6, stick it in under here, so that holds it up in place. So hopefully that's high enough. I may have to raise it up just a little bit more, but if I do, like you guys just saw, it's not a huge deal to do that. So let's get started on removing the tank. Alright, so what I'm going to start by doing is pinching off the line so we don't have any fuel that tries to leak by. And these little pliers I got from Harbor Freight are very handy for this. You guys can see that just fine. So now I'm just going to pull the clamp off. Pull the line off, and that's it. So I'm just going to let this hang. There's not really any other place to put it unless I wanted to fish it down through, but I don't want to do that. So we'll just stick it right there. And you guys can see this thing is pretty floppy right now. So I am going to have to lift up this back end just a little bit more. So just to remove it, as I said, I did boost it up just a little bit. There it is. Now this wire harness, we're just going to move that out of the way. Alright, so here we are with the old tank out. Here's the new tank. Here's the new bracket. I'll show you where everything goes. But first, we need to remove this support bracket. There we go. There's the difference between the old and new. So the new one just flops right in there. It's supposed to anyways. So just lining the holes up. There we go. The back support bracket, which just goes right here where these two holes can go through. And then this lip right here, just like that. You can even adjust it a little bit if you want, but it should be okay how it is. So let's throw the new tank in. You guys can kind of see the shape of this thing, how it's going to go in there. And of course it's in there a little loose. I did read about that a bit. So probably is going to have to be a way that I'm going to have to find to kind of secure it down a bit. All right. See if I can just fish it underneath this bracket. There we go. I really just want it to hold there. It doesn't have to be, 100% not going to move, but here's my flush cuts. That's good. And then we'll see if I've got move it over. I did include a small fuel line extension. So we have a brass fitting, and jam that right in there. There we go. But my biggest worry with the fuel line is it getting caught with the fan. So what I'm going to have to do is throw some zip ties down in here to kind of cinch the line out of the way. Alright, haven't replaced the seat yet. Probably going to do a separate video on that. But I do have the parking brake on. I forgot to mention that in the video. So let's turn that off. But that tank went in a little bit better than I thought it would. Everything I was reading online for this retrofit, which I believe is for all John Deere L series lawn tractors. So it's kind of like a universal fix. And where you see that is where how loose the tank was just sitting in there. So that's really the only issue that I can foresee anybody having. But like I said, take it with a grain of salt and see how it works out for you. But hope you guys enjoyed this video and stay tuned for more.